You already know what it is. I made a song called Expo that was released on Night Mode's This is Cyberpunk compilation. This compilation themed around Cyberpunk, of course. Night Mode is a fire new label by Tucker Jericho, my good friend, homie. They've been releasing some actual fire lately. Definitely check it out, link in the description to Night Mode and my release Expo. Today I'm gonna break down how I made Expo. The perfect jam for night city, late night driving, perhaps shooting, perhaps not, because it's an RPG and you get to choose what you want to do. All right, but first we shall take a listen. This is Expo, the Cyberpunk Ultimate Night City Jam. So that's Expo. Let me break it down for you. Let me break it down. So let's start off with the intro. What do we got? Got this little vocal thing, pitched up. That's actually my voice going, and then I played with it, pitched it up. Yeah, pretty simple. And now we have this little synth loop doing the same melody as the vocal. Low pass filter going up just to give that tension into the beginning intro part here. And then a low bass. If you watch my videos, you know I love this little low bass patch. Basically just like a saw, a detuned saw that I do in Serum, and then I just play with it. Got a little synth cut here. Just actually this synth that we're about to hear cut up. Let me just play this section and then we'll break it down. So what's going on? We've got some stuff going on here. Let me see. Start off with the drums. Pretty simple, basic drum loop. Got this ride holding the tempo up here. And some more little hatties that you can't really hear, but they're also helping hold the tempo. How I made this synth, I'll just show you really quickly. Pretty simple. It's just like a bunch of super saws layered. Spin up Serum, detune the saw, very basic. Pretty much it, you know? And then I just added some reverb, some delay maybe, and some distortion. And let's go on to the next part. We also have this low bass here. Just added some distortion and very compressed, as you can see, with our good friend, OTT. This snare right here is a chop snare from my sample pack on Splice. Feel free to peep that. I just basically like compressed it more. They may have like a little subtle perks. There's things that you need to add to make it sound full that you may not hear on the first listen, but they're there and they just make it sound professional and good. Very good and pro. All right, we get into the break here. It's a little interesting stuff going on. Let me show you. So we got a little break beat, build break. Basically just an almond break with like a flanger. Same synth from the intro. Low pass, going up, doing the thing. Clearly I'm the best at explaining things, but no, let me show you. Little synth cut. How'd I do that synth cut? Well, power of resampling. Let me show you. To get that little squelchy noise, you can do that in Ableton on audio. Usually just go like this. Makes that little, it's like, and this little synth cut right here. Just like pitch down the main synth. Got some little background vocey boys. Add that nice ambience for Night City, baby. And then we get into the build up. Let me just play it. What do we got going on here? We got some risers. I'm not gonna go too deep into them because it's risers. Like, got this breakbeat on the build up. Some Some synths here that are just like reverbing. And then the vibe switch right here on the build up. The big vibe switch. What is that? Let me show you. It's actually the lead synth and the drop in the build up leading up to the big explosion. Also got some 909 snares right here. I find 909 snares work really well in like ravey type stuff because it's got a like old host vibe. Great description, but you know what I mean. What else we got? So the pre-drop vocal is actually from a vocal that I definitely couldn't use because it was some singer, but I pitched it down and we modified it. So hopefully they don't watch this video and then sue me. I'm not gonna show the original or say which singer because, you know, obvious reasons. All right, we got the first drop. Let me just play it real quick. There's definitely some stuff happening in the drop here. There's definitely noises occurring, which may or may not pleasure your ears, but let's stay a little deep. First hit on the drop. Nothing actually here. Go away. First hit on the drop with the drums. Let's analyze the drums first, all right? Pretty basic, you know, you got your kick. And you got your snare. People seem to like the snare. Let me show you what it is. So the real magic here is this sword whip fencing sound that goes into the snare. Makes it sound like a whip. Snare itself is pretty cool. I think I got it from like a psytrance pack or something. This entire song has like a psytrance vibe all the way through. I find psytrance-esque stuff works very well with the Night City vibe. I say vibe, man, it's way too much. Energy, the Night City energy, the nightlife. Having this lead into the snare gives it a certain kind of effect, which I like. I mean, that's pretty much it for drums. So let's get into the main sound, all right? I know that's what you want to see. It's actually a splice sample. All right, when inspiration strikes, when you see a cool sample, you know, strike while the iron's hot. Strike while you can exploit an entire loop. I don't agree with doing everything yourself. Are you gonna go and skin the cow and make a drum and then bring it to your garage and then record it as well? No, you're gonna use a sample from Splice, all right? So I'm rationalizing me using a loop. But yeah, if you see a loop that you like and you wanna make a song around it, you're inspired by it, I don't see any reason not to. It's obviously the argument of having your own sound, of course. You have to work that in. But if you like a sample and you wanna add your flavor to it, go for it. You have my approval, okay? Do it. Do it. So here's the unprocessed lead without any effects or anything. There's 3 layers to it. Top end layer. Just processed with some width and some other EQing. So it's only the top end on this layer. Second layer. You know, it's the low end-ish. And then on the third layer, it's neither too high nor too low. The in-between layer. So on top of that, I use some bus EQ and then some distortion and Camel Crusher. You love it? Pretty cool what you can do when you take a sample and then put effects on it and put your own spin on it. I think it turned out pretty cool, pretty neat, pretty good and cool. Bishu, how do you get that pumping effect? Let me show you. Sidechain compression. If you don't know what that is, just Google it immediately. It's very essential unless you're just watching this for fun. But I assume most of you are sweaty boys in your room that have a crusty laptop that want to play Ultra Miami. So how I do sidechain compression, I've said it many times. I have my bus with all my main lead sounds, my main basses that are in the drop. I use audio automation on the bus. So like this. So you can see it emulates the transient of the kick. So it goes kick, snare, kick, snare. I find this easier because I can just visualize it. So that's how I do that. We get up here and there's a little like break part. It's like boom, boom. 3 sounds. So we have this pork chop sound that you can't actually hear. Cool, very cool, Bishu. And then we have this ring blip, little blip sound. And then we have the oh. I think that was just a voice with distortion and then I pitched it down or something. Yeah, definitely pitch it down. And then with it layered, that sound, I have chop snare with some delay. Makes a cool effect, here it is. So usually the kick would be here. but I delayed it and just had to go back right into the snare. Put some space there, it's pretty neat. Little almond break. Very cool. And then we're back into the B section. A little bit different. I have it doing a little stutter thing. So we have this. Basically pitched up the lead. And in Ableton you can do this transience mode. And this adjusts the length of the transients. So if you want it to be very choppy, you would go like this. Less choppy. And I just liked it at 35. Layered with this little pretty neato. Now on the second little break part, so this was the first one. And then we have this one on the second part. Same thing, except I have this cartoon, which I think is cool. I like it. Pretty much it, except for some cymbals that come in here in the B section. Love to see it. And then back into the dark vibes. Can I get a vibe counter? It's the same synths from the intro, just low passed. As you can see. So we got up to this little vocal part. Essentially just like a drum and bass breakbeat wave section. That's how I would define it, not really sure. With just the low bass. And then we have the vocals. What are the vocals? Here's the dry vocals with none of my effects. You make me feel something every time I see you, baby, come a little closer. And with my effects. You make me feel something every time I see you, baby, come a little closer. So what is this? I don't have a friend who's a singer, and I didn't sing it myself, obviously. So where'd it come from? Splice. It's the king of splice over here. This is a loop that I just found. It was in the same key. I had original vocals before this that were from a singer, but we didn't really want to clear them and pay money for a singer. And I thought this actually sounded pretty sick. And I just added a bunch of autotune because we T-painted a note here. And then I pitched it up 12 semitones in the second part here as a layer. And we have some background vocals. Into this little 25 great gangster movie quotes straight from YouTube. Hopefully like Warner doesn't see this or whatever company and fries me.
It's not here because of me.
It only exists over here because of me. So the second drop, let's go. Double time, baby. You gotta get into it sometimes. You have to go double time sometimes. Same exact lead, but the sub is going ape. Okay, it's going ape. Very chunky boy. Chunky man, even. There's 2 layers to it. Chill layer. Chunky layer. Both layers together. Love to see it. And then the kicks. A very psytrance-esque kick. This little ding sounds like when you finally think of the right answer on an exam. And that just like a clap thing to add some ambience. Big moment, big moment. Of course, we're sidechaining on every beat this time. Give it that pump. Back into the halftime. Let me just show you the sub real quick. 2 layers to it. This is pretty saturated, just a sine wave with operator and Ableton. Highly compressed. And the second layer is where the magic happens, the grit. It all happens in this guitar rig right here. So here's the guitar rig on the second layer. It's the same as the other one. Both together. Very chunky sub. Highly recommend guitar rig. Truly is sick. It's very sick. Neochar is just, you know, synths from the intro, low passing. This is when you realize you got the wrong answer on the exam. So this is my Cyberpunk banger. Shout out Night Mode, truly a legendary new coming label. Shout out Tucker, shout out Jericho, same person. Thank you for having me. Basically, I had this song sitting around for like 6 months and I was just like, I'm so into this like hard wave shit. And they were doing this like perfectly themed This is Cyberpunk compilation. So I was like, he actually messaged me because he had my unreleased playlist of my music. And he was like, dude, this would fit perfectly. And I was like, yeah, let's go. So we put it on and I'm really happy with it. Expo, so it's called. Look it up on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. Also just released a new song called Empty Promises on Monstercat. Link to that in the description as well. Thank you for watching. I love you.
Run it, yeah. Run it, run it, run it, run it, run it, run it, run it.